And a very good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Cadet First Class Club for another edition of This Week in Army Football. Here with you until 8 o'clock, talking everything Black Knights as Army gets set to go on the road to take on Syracuse in upstate New York coming up on Saturday afternoon. Army now 2-1 on the season, coming off a 37-29 victory on the road at UTSA on Friday night. Tremendous performance by the Black Knights, controlling the football for more than 40 minutes in that game. And with us to talk everything Army football for the next hour, how about a big This Week in Army Football welcome to the star of our show. Welcome back, Jeff Monken.
Thanks, Rich. 44 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, 44.
That's a lot of minutes.
That's a lot of time. And that first quarter was about 13 minutes of that first
I looked
quarter.
at the play-by-play after the game. They ran 6 plays in the first quarter, and they ran 6 plays in the fourth quarter. So that was ball control central right there.
Just the way you want it.
Yep.
Well, before we talk about UTSA, we talk about Syracuse, we talk about the standout performances this week and get to your questions. We're going to start out with a congratulations announced earlier this week by Athletic Director Mike Buddy, who is here tonight, a contract extension for you, Jeff, tied to Army through the year 2027. I'll tell you, this crowd, those watching, listening, couldn't be happier. Congratulations to you.
Well, they're not happier than I am, Rich. I'm thrilled, and I appreciate so much the opportunity to be here. And when Boo Corrigan and Bob Caslin hired me for this job, I was just thrilled to have this opportunity, and I'm just so glad to be here working with Mike Buddy and General Gillen, and I'm glad they still believe in me, and I'm proud to be the coach, and as I said, we're just getting started. So we got some work to do, but we're going to go into Syracuse this Saturday and give it our best, and see if we can keep this thing going.
You mentioned just getting started. Already at the quarter pole of this 2023 season, your team 2-1, coming off 2 victories in a row. We mentioned the win at UTSA on Friday night, 44 minutes of ball control, 6 offensive plays for UTSA in the first quarter, 6 offensive plays in the fourth quarter. Jeff, that game, there was a lot over 60 minutes in that game. As you reflect back on it, what did you learn about your team in that game?
I think it just probably qualified what I already thought about those guys. They're tough, they're resilient, they are guys that stick together and play together, and just a great opportunity for us to be the team that we think we can be, and show people the team that I think that we can become. And we're not there yet. We haven't arrived, as people say. We got a long way to go. There's plenty of mistakes on Friday night. A lot of things we can do better. But I thought our guys really have improved, especially from week 1 to now. It was difficult to tell against Delaware State because they weren't as good an opponent as even ULM, but I thought UTSA is the best team we've faced so far, and I thought our guys played really well. What's amazing is you hold the ball for 44 minutes, and you feel like you're hanging on for dear life at the end. I mean, that's just who we are, and so just the toughness and the resiliency that our guys showed. At halftime, they hit that Hail Mary.
Yep.
Our guys didn't flinch. They came out and played a great second half, and got to stop when we needed it, and got to score when we needed it, and I was really proud of them. It's a great celebration, and happy to get that win.
Jeff, what do you say to your team at halftime? You had dominated the statistical ledger time of possession in that first half. They hit the Hail Mary as time runs out at the end of the first half, and it's almost an even-up game. And what do you say to them at halftime after, 29 minutes and 55 seconds that they dominated?
Well, we needed to tackle better. And we'd missed some tackles in the first half, and I talked to the defense about that. Obviously, that last play at the end, we're just poorly positioned, and that was all about. It wasn't a lack of trying, just poorly positioned. We got to do a better job with that. That was one play. And offensively, we had gotten the ball down close again. We're down at the 3-yard line, 3rd and goal at the 3, and we got a tackle for loss and ended up having to kick a field goal to go up 17. But it really should have been a drive where we finish it off like we did the first couple and go up 21. And as I talked to him about, we've got to finish drives and finish blocks so that we can get the ball across the goal line or get the ball across the first down sticks to maintain possession. And I thought our guys just did a great job coming out in the second half. We knew they would come out and be really charged up. But they had won 17 of the last 18 games at home. They're a two-time conference champion, and so I knew they'd have something for us in the second half. They did. They gave us all they had, and we fortunately gave them all we had, and it was good enough.
You head back on the road Saturday up at the one-time named Carrier Dome, now the JMA Wireless Dome in Syracuse, to take on the Orange out of the Atlantic Coast Conference. I'll tell you, this Syracuse team coming off a big win on the road at Purdue. Their quarterback, Garrett Schrader, tremendous performance. Your thoughts on going up there, another hostile, covered roof environment, to take on a good football team?
They're a terrific football team. They might be the only team. I didn't check and balance it all out with all the other teams that are top 5 in the country in scoring defense or scoring offense, but they're in the top 5 in both, and that's uncommon. They're just a really good, solid football team, well-coached team. Dino Babers, I've known him a long time. He's one of the great offensive minds in our profession. He hired Rocky Long, who has the respect of everybody in college football as one of the best defensive coordinators, and they are, they're different on both offense and defense, and I think that's really made for a very good football team this year, and it's going to be a challenge. It'll be loud. They're very talented, as you said. That quarterback is really special. He almost threw and ran for 200 each in the game against Purdue, and that's pretty impressive. And Dino has kind of been known for a really fast-paced offense, throwing the ball a lot, but they've got a really good running game, a good running back, very strong up front. They do an excellent job up front on offense of picking up all the stunts and picking up everybody up when they do run the football. So we got some real challenges, but our guys are excited for the opportunity to play a Power 5 program and play on national TV, and it'll be exciting for our players.
Army at Syracuse, noon kick time from the JMA Wireless Dome. Airtime across the Army Sports Network at 10 a.m. with the Army Football Tailgate Show. Reminder to all watching, sign up for the new addition to This Week in Army Football, our Trivia Challenge. Sign up by scanning the QR code on your screen now to enter for your chance to win 4 tickets to Army against Troy on October 14th, 3:30 kick time at Mikey Stadium. This will be the last show allowing you to win tickets for the Troy game. Each question, a new QR code will appear. Reminder, please scan the code each time so your answers can be recorded properly. Last week's winner, Anthony Scott. Congratulations. Nice. Anthony Scott will be heading to the Army-Troy game coming up in October. We'll have a lot of questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken tonight. Time to welcome back Corey on the wireless. Welcome back, Corey.
Thank you so much, Rich, and congrats on the huge win, Coach.
Thank you so much.
I am excited to hear the questions that our listeners have for us today regarding this in-state matchup we've got going on this weekend. So leave them in the comments, and we'll get them to Coach.
Yeah, we're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube Live. We're across the Army Sports Network. So listen, send in your questions. We'll get to the questions from the crowd here at the Firstie Club in a little bit. So, Jeff, couple things. We have our special guest coming up next segment, and someone who was part of your first team at Army. Now he's back with you, Luke Prue.
Luke was here for the first 2 years I was here, and he's doing an incredible job. It's great to have a guy that's played in the program, and I especially enjoy having guys in those positions that played while I was the head coach here. They understand our philosophy, just the things we believe in. They know what's important, and Luke's just doing a tremendous job. He's very well respected by the team and the coaching staff, and so I'm going to be excited to have him up here with us.
Yeah, and we look forward to talking to Luke Prue. Now, also, your time to test Army football knowledge. Scan the QR code now to enter your answers. Remember, the fastest answer will win. Here is question 1 for today's episode. Who was the starting quarterback for Army in their 1996 matchup against Syracuse? And a bonus, who was their starting quarterback?
Nice.
I remember watching that game.
I don't know that I watched that game, but I do know the 2 quarterbacks.
See, look at that.
And Anthony Scott won last week. I'm not sure it's the same Anthony Scott. I coached a guy named Anthony Scott at Georgia Southern back in the late 90s. He was an offensive lineman. I don't know if he's calling in or not, but
we'll see. If
you never know.
You never know, right? You never know. We have people watching, listening, again, throughout the Hudson Valley, across the nation, and around the world like we say. So again, who was the starting quarterback for Army in the 1996 matchup against Syracuse? That was nationally televised on ESPN on a Saturday night. Never forget that. And then who was the Syracuse starting quarterback? The bonus answer. Scan the QR code. We'll get the answers flowing. Coming up next, Luke Prue, our special guest here on This Week in Army Football, when we come back from the Firstie Club in just a moment, right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
At the United States Military Academy, you're on the team from day one.
A team where people are the #1 priority and winning matters.
A team of scholars, athletes, and leaders, each striving to become all that they can be.
Are you ready to join our team?
West Point, where leaders are made.
It was a great team win, definitely the most exciting win I've been a part of. So I think we started off very fast and we definitely finished fast too.
Oh, it's awesome for us. I mean, just like any game, win, loss, there's always stuff you can learn from, but it felt good to get that win that we worked so hard for and to just keep stacking momentum as the weeks come by.
Yeah, I just tried to do whatever I could to try and help the team win. Tried to work the technique. I thought I could beat the tackle outside. Thankfully, I was able to get the sack, get the offense off the field, and it was a really good feeling to get that stop.
We focus on just doing our job each play, focusing on the present, and then whatever happened last play, just keep going, keep chopping.
So it'll be a very, very big challenge for our defense. We gotta be on our A game, obviously. Great receivers and O-line that blocks very well.
I feel like every week's an opportunity, to play on a stage like against Syracuse, an ACC team that's been performing so well, had a big win last week. We treat every game the same, but this week's going to be special for sure.
USAA? Yeah, they have awesome rates on coverage for our car, home, and stuff. She has a lot of stuff.
Dad.
A lot of cool stuff, honey. But USAA also has banking, credit cards, and loans. Plus advice and other perks.
Only for emergencies. Thanks, Mom.
And it's all in one spot. So we know she's all set because we've got USAA.
USAA, more than you might think, for the military community and their families.
He may not turn out to be a black belt or play Carnegie Hall.
He'll take the chicken fingers.
But with the money you earn from your Penn-Fed checking and savings accounts,
He's growing up. Look at him.
your goal of supporting his dreams will always be worth it.
I got it.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Five, four, three.
And welcome back to This Week in Army Football here at the Cadet First Class Club. Also Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and across the Army Sports Network as we get set for Army and Syracuse coming up on Saturday afternoon up at the JMA Wireless Dome, a noon kick time. And you can listen across the Army Sports Network beginning at 10 a.m. Time now for our special guest and someone as Jeff Monken let in our last segment, part of Jeff's first two teams here at West Point, the 2014 and 2015 teams, now back with the program as Director of Player Development. How about this week in Army football? Welcome, West Point class of 2016, Captain Luke Prue. Luke, welcome.
Thank you,
to
gentlemen.
this week in Army football. So I was up in the football offices today, and you were actually prepping for the show.
I wouldn't call it prepping, but we were talking through a few things. Yes, sir.
You made it clear you didn't need any prep for
No,
this
I'm
show.
sure I need plenty.
So welcome back, and let's just start off. You know, your road that brought you back to West Point, and Jeff Monken and I have talked about it a lot. Such an important position as Director of Player Development.
Right. So graduated in 16, spent some time in El Paso, Texas. Had a great time out there. Spent about a year in Georgia collectively. Most recently was out at JBLM Washington, which was an awesome opportunity to be back by family. And then fortunately I got a call from my predecessor in this role, John Voight, to see if my timeline would support coming out and taking over for him, and it sure did. So we pulled the trigger pretty quickly, my wife and I, for the opportunity to come back, work with the football program, and be at the wonderful West Point.
Jeff, what were your thoughts when you heard that Luke was in the mix, interested in coming back?
I was excited to have him come back, and I think a lot of John Voight. He did a great job, and when I heard that Luke was going to come back and take that spot, I was kind of relieved, because you just don't know. You don't know that when the next guy comes in, if he's going to be able to kind of be up to the job that the last guy did, and it was seamless. And Luke's done a great job. They're cut from the same cloth, very similar personalities, and I knew he really wanted to be here because he's from the state of Washington. So to be at home and to be able to be there and serve and be around family, to come all the way across the country to do this, really indicated that he loves Army football and had a great desire to be here.
With that, Luke, let's dial it back to your decision to come to West Point. Jeff mentions obviously coming from the state of Washington. What factored into coming here as a cadet and as an athlete?
Right. So initially, my parents did, I think a great job in retrospect at providing me kind of an understanding of the opportunities West Point was going to be able to provide. Obviously, as a prospective college athlete, you're focused on football. So to be able to make a decision to set yourself up for the future, and I really give them credit. I think the football program was as developmental, if not more, than the rest of the West Point experience to lead us directly into officership. Everything that Coach and his staff preaches directly correlated and translated to success in leading soldiers as we transition to being officers. So when I got the call to come back as an opportunity to work with the football team, it was a very, very passionate yes, and the decision to be able to provide and give back to a program that did so much for me.
Jeff, and we talked earlier, the 2 years that Luke had under you. Take me back to taking the job. Luke, one of the players on the team, and, working with him.
Those 2 years, we really were developing the program. And certainly when I took the job, I had no idea what to expect. And what I found was a team that was very hungry to have success and to build a program. And it was really on the backs of Luke and his classmates and the class before, as well as the senior class that played in 2016, that really got this going and were the foundation for our success. And I pushed those guys as hard as I have ever pushed players in my career, and demanded excellence, demanded detail in every facet of the program. And I know it couldn't have been easy for Luke and his teammates to endure that, because it was every day. There was high demand, and we weren't getting the on the field results. But I could see, especially in year 2, I could see that this program was turning a corner, and the winds of change were blowing, and so it really, Luke and his classmates, that senior class, they were the last class to really kind of give us that push that we needed in 2016 to get it rolling.
Luke, you talk about that your first year, 2015, right? 7 drives, 7-1 score, setbacks. How difficult was that, but how much progress were you seeing as one of the leaders on this team?
Right. As I think back on it, and I've obviously spoken with teammates over the years, just kind of about that, specifically, we felt that we fell short in the wins and loss column. But truly, as Coach said, it was such a day-to-day, I would say, grind, and we focused more on the day-to-day. And what we knew we were doing is we were setting the program up for success in the future. So, as soon as you graduate and you move on, you tend not to dwell on the wins and losses as much. But really, I can say in all confidence, we felt, walking out the doors of Kimsey, that we had left and done our part to leave the program in a better place, as is evidenced by a phenomenal season that following 2016 fall, and obviously the success Coach has had since.
And Jeff, we've talked to folks who were part of the 1995 Army team, which was the year before the 96 team broke through, went to the first bowl game in several years. That 2015 team, how much credit, you mentioned it earlier though, how much of a reason you were able to have the success in 16 because of what the 15 team went through and accomplished?
As you mentioned, we had 7 one-score losses, and those are difficult to endure. We lost by 2. We lost by 3 twice, both on buzzer beater field goals. We lost by 4. We lost by 5. We lost by 6 at Penn State. We lost by 7. We had so many games where if you just flip one drive, we get one stop, or on offense, we finish one drive and get a touchdown, or even a field goal, we win the football game. And so I knew we were close. And we were playing a lot of young guys. There were a lot of young players that were playing in that 2015 season that played again as sophomores. Guys playing as freshmen played as sophomores in 2016, which made a huge difference for us. And we really had some great games that year, and just unfortunately, we just didn't have enough to finish them off. And but I knew that we were close, and that 2015 team could have tanked it. There were plenty of times that season that they could have just tanked it, and they didn't. They kept fighting and kept battling all the way to the very last game in the Army-Navy game, and we had a chance to win that game. So I knew we were close, and so though they don't get the credit, I do appreciate those 2 teams and what they did, and just the resiliency they had and the commitment that they made to building this program. And our intention was to win every game. I assure you, we didn't go through the 2015 season saying, hey, we're just preparing for 2016. We were trying to win. But it was that confidence that we got in that year, knowing how close we were, that I think we were able to finish off some of those teams the next year.
Luke, when you think of memories as an Army football player on the field, what sticks out?
As much as some of the fun times and the few wins we did have and the celebrations following do stick out, really the things that stick with, myself and the guys who graduated with me were the springs and our first few mat drills, and really that constant grind and that absolute maximum effort that Coach expected of us, and we were able to provide to turn the tide. So when we think about our time, that's really what we draw upon.
Now you're talking about mat drills. He deserves to be. He's cut right from the cloth.
I'm telling you, that first spring in 2014, that was the most grueling fourth quarter pre-dawn workout mat drills I've ever been a part of, and these guys endured it, and it was hard. It was 1 degree out there one day, 1 degree. We were at Mikey Stadium, and these guys gutted it out, and it just really was it was to find out who was tough enough, who wanted to do it, and not everybody stayed. Not everybody did, but the tough ones did, and that was just the first. That was the first real test and the foundation that we've built to kind of get this program on a level where we can succeed and sustain success.
Luke, you're back here, Director of Player Development. Take me through what a day looks like.
Right. So the days, are different, I would say, on a weekly basis. But really what I'm here for, and the way I look at it, I'm here to develop our guys, help in some respects academically, militarily. I think I play a large role, and then professionally. I leave obviously the coaching to the coaches, But I just want to be their sounding board, an outlet for them and a resource where if they're lacking in some aspect of their life or they're looking for a little bit of validation, or they really just want to talk about the future of what they're doing now and how that will contribute to their successes, the door is always open.
Jeff, must be great having Luke back.
It is. We're glad to have him back. He's doing a great job, and I hope he can stick around for a while.
Well, Luke, you did great on the show tonight. Thank you for stopping by. Look forward to seeing you and all the great things you're doing for Army football.
Thank you so much.
Captain Luke Prue joining us on This Week in Army Football. Before we step aside, question 2 for today's trivia challenge. In 2014, now Captain Prue was a cadet then, and Army played at Yankee Stadium on November 8th of that year and defeated what team? Scan the QR code below to submit your answer.
One of the great finishes.
I think about that game a lot.
It's an awesome game.
That's one of the great wins at Yankee Stadium. You remember that well, Luke, right?
Yep. Don't say the name because you're going to give it away.
I will not say the name. I want to give him some kudos, but I'll leave it out.
Okay, we'll be back. Your questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken in just a moment, right here on This Week in Army Football, live from the Cadet First Class Club, right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
When pain wants to keep you on the sidelines, know you have options to keep you doing what you love. As one of the world's leading medical technology companies, Stryker offers innovative foot and ankle products that help you get back in the game and on your feet. Stryker and Army West Point Athletics have joined forces to help you learn more about foot and ankle pain and provide you resources so you can find a specialist in your area. Visit Stryker.com/WestPoint to learn more.
September 27th, 1958, Army opened up what would be the final season for legendary head coach Red Blake with a blowout win over 18th-ranked South Carolina. The Black Knights, beginning the season 8th in the national rankings, debuted the lonely end with Bill Carpenter lined up near the sideline. The unique formation would allow Army to run wild as Pete Dawkins rushed for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns, along with 2 receiving scores, with fellow running back Bob Anderson playing a focal role in the passing game, completed all 5 of his attempts, including 2 going for touchdowns. Army broke out of the gates quickly and never looked back. The 45-8 win provided a memorable start to the season at Michie Stadium, in a year in which Army would finish undefeated.
So yeah, USAA, they always have my back.
USAA? You were in the military?
Oh no, I wasn't, but my grandpa was. He joined USAA, passed membership to my mom, then to me.
There's other ways to get in?
Yeah. My neighbor Ron, he's in because his wife served. Even little Luna, once she's born, her dad served.
So all this time I could have had USAA insurance.
And banking.
Where's my phone?
Over there.
USAA, for the military community and their families.
Meet the Chevy ZR2 family. They'll never let you down. With features like DSSV dampers, MT tires, and an off-road performance display. When the going gets tough, it's a family you can count on. Introducing the Silverado, Colorado, and Silverado HD ZR2 family of trucks.
Audience ready in 5, 4, 3.
And welcome back to This Week in Army Football, the Cadet First Class Club. Rich DeMarco alongside Army head coach Jeff Monken, getting set for Army and Syracuse coming up on Saturday afternoon up at the JMA Wireless Dome, formerly known as the Carrier Dome. I tell you, Jeff, you were under the dome, the Alamo Dome at UTSA, and you get to go to another raucous dome environment. How does maybe doing what you did in front of the crowd in the dome at the Alamo Dome prepare you for Saturday?
They're all different. They all have different lighting systems and different scoreboards that are up there on the ceiling. And I've never been to Syracuse, so this we'll kind of get an idea when we get there in pregame. Let those guys that catch kicks get out there and get some early work. But I think just being in that environment last week, it was loud, and so as that volume starts to go up, especially on 3rd and 4th down. Our guys being accustomed to having to communicate when it's really loud, I think is going to help for this week. And I assume that this is going to be louder. That there may be a bigger crowd than there was last week, and so hopefully we're prepared for it. It's going to be a challenge, but that's just another thing. It's just one of the challenges in playing over there and playing a great football team.
Before we get to questions for Jeff Monken, we're on Facebook Live, of course, YouTube Live. If you have questions, drop them in the comments portion of Facebook. And we'd like to thank everyone here at the Cadet First Class Club, including Mr. Larry Johnson and his wife, Carla. Larry, the founder and CEO of Fogo de Chao. And I know, Jeff, he's someone who's very special to you and this Army football program.
Larry and I have become really good friends, and Carla, and they're just great folks, and they support our team. We've eaten at their restaurants in Dallas, here at White Plains, and they've taken such great care of us, and I'm proud to call them my friends. So great to have them here tonight. Welcome to West Point, and I know they're not one of our sponsors, but that is absolutely my favorite restaurant in the world. I mean, every time my wife says, let's go out to eat, I said, let's go to Fogo. So anyway, that's Larry, thanks for being here.
Thank
Carla.
you, and thank you for being here. Now time for questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken. Corey, on the wireless, our first question for Coach.
All righty, we're going to kick it off with a question from Anthony John. He said the defense was susceptible to the big play last week, which you mentioned earlier. With another big play offense this week, have there been any adjustments to limit those opportunities?
We're going to do our very best to keep them in front of us, in the big plays that happened last week in the passing game were obviously the Hail Mary at the end of the game when we had people kind of surrounded him, and the kid made a great play. It was a perfect throw right to 1 yard deep in the end zone. The kid went up and got it, and we really needed to have somebody positioned kind of right in front of him, but we ran out of bodies. We kind of had guys surrounding him, and he made a great play. The other was in the second half, which cut the lead for them pretty close. They beat Casey over the top, and Max DiDomenico was out. He had an injury, and Casey went in there, and he got back on his heels, and the guy beat him over the top. And I think that Casey probably learned a good lesson from that play, and he'll do a better job the next time. But that's just it. You can give up some short throws, you can give up some plays in front of you, but when they get behind you, it's usually not very good. So we got to do a much better job of keeping them in front of us this week, and I think our guys will. They'll work really hard at it, and if we get beat over the top, it's just because they're that much better and they run by us.
And the quarterback for Syracuse, Garrett Schrader, the transfer from Mississippi State, and he gained a lot of notoriety last week for his running prowess, 195 yards on the ground, making a lot of use out of a play fake handoff where he kept it that had everyone faked out.
Well, he did on the goal line and scored a touchdown, and then he did at the very end of the game to kind of seal the game. And he'd run 5 more yards, he'd had a 200-yard rushing game. I mean, he probably could have house called it, but wisely in that situation, he went down and they were able to run the clock out. So he's a smart football player. He's a very talented football player, and as good on his feet as he is throwing the ball, and that makes him really dangerous.
Next question for Coach Monken.
Well, kind of along those same lines, we're talking about Garrett Schrader. Anthony John and Steve Jawback both said, he's known for his deception, his mobility. How is the defense prepared for this type of QB?
So what we've got to do is not not take the cheese, as they say. And that happened to Purdue on that one touchdown. They had a contained player over there, and he made such a good play fake that they all kind of collapsed on the running back, and he was able to kind of walk into the end zone. And what we can't do is allow those plays. We can't allow him to break contain. We've got a contained player on every play, whether it's a run play or a pass play. We've got to keep him in the pocket, keep him contained, try to keep him from running the football because he's really good on his feet. But that's what we're trying to do every week, is really try to stop the run. I believe that the team that is most successful in running the football and stopping the run has the best chance to win. So we've got to do that first. I think Dino believes the same, and he's got a great running back and a great quarterback to carry the ball, and a really stout defense that's good at stopping the run. So we're going to have our challenges for sure.
Thank you for the question. Before we step aside, time now for our next trivia question of the night.
Okay.
Which current Army head coach played at Syracuse?
Oh.
And this coach is a legend for the Orange.
I know that answer as well. So
yeah, that's one of the great ones. I mean, you mentioned the
that
name
coach
of
will be
this
cheering
coach.
for the good guys this week.
I don't have any doubt.
For sure.
Now, we're speaking for this coach, of course, but yes, I would have any doubt that this coach will be. What current Army head coach played sports at Syracuse? More than just sports. Was one of the greatest to ever play their sport. Okay, remember, scan the QR code below. Submit your answer. Scan that QR code. When we come back, more of your questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken. It's Army in Syracuse coming up on Saturday. We're on This Week in Army Football live at the Cadet First Class Club right here on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
Meet the Chevy ZR2 family. They'll never let you down. With features like DSSV dampers, MT tires, and an off-road performance display. When the going gets tough, it's a family you can count on. Introducing the Silverado, Colorado, and Silverado HD ZR2 family of trucks.
It was a great team win, definitely the most exciting win I've been a part of. So I think we started off very fast, and we definitely finished fast too.
Oh, it's awesome for us. I mean, just like any game, win, loss, there's always stuff you can learn from, but it felt good to get that win that we worked so hard for and to just keep stacking momentum as the weeks come by.
Yeah, I just tried to do whatever I could to try and help the team win. Tried to work the technique. I thought I could beat the tackle outside. Thankfully, I was able to get the sack, get the offense off the field, and it was a really good feeling to get that stop.
We focus on just doing our job each play, focusing on the present, and then whatever happened last play, just keep going, keep chopping.
So it'll be a very big challenge for our defense. We gotta be on our A game, obviously. Great receivers and O-line that blocks very well.
I feel like every week's an opportunity, to play on a stage like against Syracuse, an ACC team that's been performing so well, had a big win last week. We treat every game the same, but this week's going to be special for sure.
Attention veterans. You can shop tax-free for life. Come home to your military exchanges for tax-free shopping, exclusive pricing, and free shipping options. 100% of earnings go back to military communities, keeping today's military ready and resilient. You served. You sacrificed. You earned this benefit. Visit shopmyexchange.com/vets to shop and save today.
Audience ready in 5, 4, 3.
Army fans, Broadway's back at Eisenhower Hall Theater, the Hudson Valley's premier performing arts center. Enjoy your favorite Broadway plays, musicals, and the comfort and convenience of America's theater. Eisenhower Hall, a delicious meal at Riverside Cafe prior to each show makes for the perfect evening. Don't miss out. Tickets go on sale soon. Group and individual sales available. For updated season info and ticket sales, visit iCall.com. That's iCall.com. And This Week in Army Football brought to you by West Point Family and MWR. FMWR offers horse boarding, golfing, skiing, catering, camping, and many more activities and programs. Visit westpoint.armymwr.com for more information. Welcome back to the show. Rich DeMarco, Jeff Monken, getting set for Saturday, Army at Syracuse. I'll tell you what, I've always been a fan of Syracuse head coach Dino Babers, going back to when he was on the staff at Baylor, going back, 15 years ago with RG3. And he had some of the nicest things to say about West Point and his feelings for the academy.
He's a military kid.
Yep.
He's a military brat. So as they say, and so he does. He has great respect for our men and women that serve, and he's a good guy. I've known him a long time. I actually met him for the first time at the American Football Coaches Association convention in Nashville, Tennessee, when I was a senior in college. So I went there trying to find a job, looking for a job. Buzz Preston, who was he was the wide receivers coach at Hawaii, where I actually ended up getting a job, was teammates with Dino at the University of Hawaii. So he kind of introduced me to some of those guys, and Dino's always been a great guy.
So Army at Syracuse coming up on Saturday, and Dino Babers saying he had a nephew who graduated West Point just a few
3 years
ago.
ago. Yes.
So, and again, like Jeff Traylor said 1 week ago, there's a concern there could be as many Army fans as Syracuse fans up at the Dome
I hope
this
so.
weekend.
I hope there'll be a lot of Army fans.
You heard the Army fans in San Antonio last Friday night.
Yep.
So, hey, and it'll travel well, just a few hours just up the road in Syracuse for the Army-Syracuse game coming up on Saturday. Time now for more questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken. Back to Corey.
All right, this one is from Tom Vossman. A two-part question. He said, what are you most pleased with as you progress with the new offense, and what needs the most work?
I was most pleased that we didn't turn the ball over on Saturday night. That was the thing that I felt like was really important for us to get to a game where we didn't turn it over. We turned it over far too many times in game one, which cost us the football game. We turned it over again against Delaware State, and it's just disappointing to give the team. They're good enough. They don't need our help. I hate giving the ball away to those guys. So I thought we did a good job there, and certainly then the success on fourth down, and we did throw the ball some. We didn't give up a sack. I mean, there were several things that I felt like we really improved on. But again, with the with the improvements that need to be made, there's still some assignment issues. We'd love to be 100%, where we're always blocking the right guy and we're always running the right route, and we've got to get that cleaned up. And the better teams, that calls for better execution. And I thought we had really good execution on Friday night, and we're certainly going to need very good execution out of the offense this Saturday.
And we can go even further. No penalties.
No penalties by anybody. Not defense, not special teams. So our guys just played really good, really disciplined football, and that was positive. Penalties sometimes happen because you're aggressive. There are aggressive penalties, but even that, there were none of those. There were no foolish penalties. 12 guys breaking a huddle or lining up in the neutral zone, jumping off sides. It's silly stuff that you can avoid. And I was really proud of our guys for that.
In a loud environment, right? Third game in a new offense. There's some motion in this offense, right? You're going back into the shotgun. So that's really something. No penalties at all for Army in that road game at UTSA. Next question for Coach Monken.
On the same note of, talking about our offense here, Adam Sabrin asked, Coach, does Daly remind you of Taysom Hill on the Saints?
I don't watch any NFL football, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, honestly, I couldn't tell you the starting quarterback for anybody in NFL. We work every Sunday, so we played a game on Saturday. I'm in the office right after church before noon, and I'm in all day long. And I watch film on Sunday night. I don't watch Monday Night Football because I'm not in charge of the remote control at my house. My wife and girls are, so.
I think you
Noted.
sneak in some
Tell me what
Baltimore
you think.
Ravens. I think you sneak in some
You
Baltimore
know what?
Ravens.
I'm embarrassed to say I haven't watched the Ravens yet. My cousin is coordinating their offense. I haven't seen him yet, and I would tell him that. He knows the deal. So you got to turn that one over to Rich. Maybe Rich knows if that's a good comparison.
I think it's a great comparison. I'll tell you what. Let's just keep it going, right? Keep it going up at Syracuse and keep the comparisons. He can run and he can throw. And I'll tell you what, the 5 touchdowns against Delaware State, that step up in opponent, Jeff, for Bryson Daly. And just the word that came to me during the game on Friday, and I used it several times, he just looked so confident out there in everything he was doing.
He did. He played very confidently and made some great throws, and that helped, just to make some plays, turning the sticks on those 4th downs, scoring on a 4th and 3 from the 3-yard line. Those were big plays, and that helps the confidence as well. Who's the guy that asked that question?
It was Adam Sabrin.
Adam's got a lot more time on his hands on the weekends than I do, and I'm envious of Adam.
You heard it here first, Adam.
He gets to watch all those games, and
Aren't they not like the Saints aren't dressing the 3rd quarterback because they have Taysom Hill or something like that?
Wings and pizza laid out to watch all the NFL games. I mean, I'm envious.
Giants are on tonight. Giants-Vikings.
Oh,
no,
yeah?
Giants-49ers. Giants-49ers tonight. I don't watch nearly
Like I
as much
said, I
NFL.
don't own the remote, so I probably won't be turning that one on tonight.
Army West Point Athletics would like to thank its restaurant and tavern partners, Brothers Barbecue and O'Toole's Pub. Check out the restaurant and tavern partners portion of GoArmyWestPoint.com for more information. Support those who support the core. We're going to step aside, then come back for our final segment of questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken. And here's our final question for tonight's show. Why is number 12 not an active number for the Army football team? Why do you not issue number
I could win
12?
tickets tonight.
It was
Rich. I
issued.
could
You go back
win
to
tickets
Steve
tonight.
Lindell, right? You go back, 50 some odd years it was, but not in several years been issued. And why is that? Scan the QR code below, submit your answer, and that's our 4th question of the night. Why is the number 12 not an active number for the Army football team?
Yep.
You want to enter this?
I know. I would have tickets. I would have tickets for sure.
We come back, one more round of questions for Army head coach Jeff Monken right here on This Week in Army Football, live from the Cadet First Class Club here at West Point on the Army Sports Network from Learfield.
At the United States Military Academy, you're on the team from day one.
A team where people are the #1 priority and winning matters.
A team of scholars, athletes, and leaders, each striving to become all that they can be.
Are you ready to join our team?
West Point, where leaders are made.
September 27th, 1958. Army opened up what would be the final season for legendary head coach Red Blake with a blowout win over 18th-ranked South Carolina. The Black Knights, beginning the season 8th in the national rankings, debuted the lonely end with Bill Carpenter lined up near the sideline. The unique formation would allow Army to run wild as Pete Dawkins rushed for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns, along with 2 receiving scores, with fellow running back Bob Anderson playing a focal role in the passing game, completed all 5 of his attempts, including 2 going for touchdowns. Army broke out of the gates quickly and never looked back. The 45-8 win provided a memorable start to the season at Michie Stadium, in a year in which Army would finish undefeated.
He may not turn out to be a black belt or play Carnegie Hall,
He'll take the chicken fingers.
but with the money you earn from your PenFed checking and savings accounts,
He's growing up. Look at him.
your goal of supporting his dreams will always be worth it.
I got it.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Audience ready in 5, 4, 3.
And welcome back to This Week in Army Football, the Cadet First Class Club, Army in Syracuse, coming up on Saturday. Time now for a few more questions. Let's go to Corey. Next question for Coach Monken.
We actually have an audience question, which is so exciting. So I'm going to pass the mic to Richie.
Hi, Coach.
How are you doing tonight?
Good, thank you. Coach, does Army use a spy on defense?
A spy?
Yeah, I was watching some games on Saturday, and a couple of the announcers mentioned on defense that the team has a spy.
Oh, spy and signals, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's got those. We got them. The opponents got them. Everybody's trying to figure out who the signal guy is. And if we can steal signals, then we know what play they're running and we know what defense they're going to be in. And so, yeah, we spend a lot of time doing that. People look at TV copies. They look at films and try to match it up.
But also a spy on the quarterback, potentially, right? So would you spy Schrader?
Yeah,
so,
I was thinking of some.
So there are defenses where, yes. In fact, we did that some with Kyle Lewis, who's our nose guard. He kind of backed out. We had a stunt called, and he didn't rush the passer like you normally would at nose guard. He kind of stood at linebacker level and spied the quarterback and went wherever he went. So, yes, both of those things. Yes, we got both.
Thank you for the question tonight. Jeff, I could ask you, what do you think of Deion Sanders? I mean, that's turned into appointment watching Colorado, or at least following it, knowing what happened in the game.
It's taken complete. That is college football right now, and I love it. I love Deion Sanders. I think he's a really good football coach. He's a very disciplined football coach, and so I'm good friends with Charles Kelly, who's the defensive coordinator there. I have great respect for what he's doing. I love how he treats his players. He cares for them. He coaches them hard. He's very encouraging. I think he's great for college football, and he's doing a great job. I'm glad he's winning. I hope he wins them all.
That's well said. Next question for Coach Monken here. Got a couple minutes left, Corey.
All right, Coach. We got a fun one from Mark and Debbie Davis. They said, we enjoyed watching the awesome win in Texas. Did you celebrate with brisket, ribs, or both?
So in all transparency, before the game, I snuck off to this barbecue place in San Antonio. I just looked up best barbecue, and it was close. And Pinkerton's Barbecue, they did not disappoint. And I had my favorite barbecue is burnt ends. So that's the short end of the brisket, and it's fat and salt and none of it good for you, but it is absolutely delicious. It's my favorite. So I got burnt ends, a jalapeno cheese, sausage, and a beef rib. So it looks like Fred Flintstone. I mean, these things are enormous. So I had all that, a sweet tea, and some blueberry cobbler before the game. That was a great way to get started for that game. I couldn't eat anything after the game. I was absolutely stuffed. But
no wonder Army won the game.
I love barbecue. I mean, I love barbecue.
So what's the best barbecue? Does it have to be fresh, or if it's out there, barbecuing for the day toward the end of the day? What's the best? Which way do you prefer?
It doesn't matter if it's smoked on a smoker the right way. It's delicious no matter what. So I've eaten barbecue all over the country, and I've eaten some places several times because it's really good. So.
And you're really a local connoisseur, Jeff, because going back a few years ago, the game at Cincinnati, you had to get Skyline Chili, right? Miami, Ohio a few years ago, same thing. So I really respect and appreciate your
we try to get a taste of the town when we arrive. Yeah.
Okay.
Had a Whataburger when we arrived there. That's Texas spot.
With the Texas toast bun.
We did.
We did do the Texas toast bun. Big Whataburger fan. Hey, you know what? Time flies when you're having fun. That's just about it for tonight's show. This broadcast, an exclusive presentation of Army West Point Sports Properties, a property of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the United States Military Academy at West Point. This broadcast is copyrighted. Any rebroadcast or reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of the Academy and Army West Point Sports Properties. The general manager of Army West Point Sports Properties is Steve Tucker. We had Tony in the studio, Skylar and Jimmy here at the controls. Mike Skelly, his final show leading this first class club.
Mike,
how about that? Mike,
job,
congratulations. Mike Skelly. Ryan Panny hitting all the right buttons. Corey on the wireless microphone. I'd like to thank Captain Luke Prue, our special guest, for Army head coach Jeff Monken. Rich DeMarco saying so long. It's Army and Syracuse coming up on Saturday. Airtime at 10. kickoff at noon. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.